Hey, what do you say? I am joined today with Dr. Justin, I'm sorry, Elliot Justin, MD, on that Men Speaking Out episode 79. This is a fantastic opportunity here. We are here to talk about men's sexual health. Give me a second. Give me just a second. I'm getting an echo. All right, sorry about that. I had my YouTube up and I had this up.
No worries.
Hear myself twice is scary. All right, can you hear me okay?
I can.
All right. Awesome. Give me just a second, my friend. Just a second. I still got some sound stuff going on here. Give me just a second. Yeah, there it is. Boom, got it. Okay, now we're good. All right. Once again, folks, sorry about the actual delay in conversation, but I'm here with Dr. Justin, Elliot Justin, MD, and this is episode 79, and we're going to talk men's sexual health. How are you today?
Excellent.
Excellent. Well, this is an honor and a privilege to have you on the podcast. I know we've been having some conflicts with meetings and things of that nature, but I'm very pleased that you are here. I'm very happy to have you I'm in the presence of greatness, and I would just definitely like to talk a little bit more about men's sexual health. Right, we're both men. Of course, obviously, there's some age difference between the two of us, and no matter what age you are, no matter what you experience in different stages of your life, we all go through some sort of challenges when it comes to sexual health. Whether it could be diabetes, whether it could be overweight, whether it could be alcoholism, whether it could be, tobacco use or whatever. It's very important that we as men understand the importance of good sexual health. And I want to make sure to my listeners, we clearly understand this is not a podcast that's going to basically incriminate or demean men by any stretch of imagination, which is the educational podcast. And I want to make sure I'm very clear because, of course, some people take an idea and go left with it or go right with it and not focus on the actual mission of the podcast. So I just want to make sure that I'm sharing this. And hello, LaTanya. Good afternoon to you, too. So she said hello to us. One of our listeners already tuned in. It's pretty cool. So anxiety, right? Anxiety is real. I'm 52 years old. And sometimes you get it.
Anxiety is one of the major causes of problems that men have, which is why they need things that are going to help them with their confidence. And a man who's confident will find that his wife, girlfriend, boyfriend is confident as well too. We're all on the road. All men are on the road from fitness to dysfunction, and would like to know, where are we on that road? Can I hit a stop? Can I make a U-turn? Or can I just pull over the curb and not go down this road anymore? And without data, it's like driving without a dashboard. It's like being on it. So with data, you can actually look under the hood and see what's going on with your battery, your engines, your engine, so to speak. So our major mission at FirmTech is better sex and better sexual health for everyone, primarily through data, but also by providing men with and women too, because we're that project is coming along too. But providing men with, and I like to call them crutches, with enhancers of their performance.
Gotcha. Well, Dr. Elliot, I want to make sure that I want to give my listeners a little background about you, right? I want to make sure they understand who are you, how did you come across your journey and things of that nature. If you wouldn't mind sharing a little bit about you, so that way we can make sure that our listeners understand the greatness in the room, please.
Well, greatness. I'm not. I think what I'm doing is challenging. I'm surprised that no one has done it so far. But I wouldn't say it's greatness, but it's great for men. So what am I doing? My background, I'm an emergency medicine physician, and as a man, we know that short of a heart attack or a stroke, there's nothing as alarming to a man as a limp penis, especially a consistently limp penis. So I'm also the founder of one of the second oldest telemedicine company in the United States. It doesn't exist anymore. It's been sold. And that remote and taking care of people by telehealth got me interested in telehealth technology. How can men, in this case, how can we deliver how can we use devices to give people information in privacy that they can use to better their health? So about 2.5 years ago, a professor of urology asked me to come up with a way of counting the number of nocturnal erections that men have. We all know about morning wood, but that's not enough. A healthy man should have 3 to 5 per night. And he said these are a leading indicator of man's cardiovascular health. And that kind of took me aback, because leading indicator in medicine, that would make this a vital sign, a sixth vital sign.
Mm-hmm.
Indicators are predictive. In medicine, we treat associations. I'm certain, so for example, there are like 60 million plus men in the United States who have high blood pressure and follow their blood pressure.
Right.
High blood pressure is associated with heart attack and stroke. It's not predictive. So if a man can follow his nocturnal erections and that number goes down, that man is going to have a heart attack in 2 or 3 years, more likely than not.
Mm-hmm.
So this particular doctor was what I call a cock ring virgin, meaning he had no play around with sex toys, and I have. So my wife says what happened was providential. You have a doctor who's interested in research, who's interested in remote health, who's played around with sex toys, and now he's been told that nocturnal erections are a leading indicator of man's cardiovascular health. And then my thought was, why just count nocturnal erections? Let's count them all. Let's assess their hardness. Let's assess how long they last. And utilizing that data, men and the healthcare providers can then measure the impact of diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, atherosclerosis, obesity upon their sexual performance. They can see where they are and what's making things better or worse. They can measure the impact of medications, Cialis, Viagra being the PD5 medications. Are they working? They're not working. What's the right dose? Mm-hmm. Supplements, exercise regimens. Now all these things can be tested on you, and you are now an N of one. Let me draw an analogy, if you don't mind, to cardiology.
Sure. Absolutely.
I'm 71. I think you said you're 51. We're both different ages, different weight. This case, different, even different race, because that could be a factor as well too. If you and I both went to a cardiologist and said, "Gee, my pulse is racing when I work out, and I feel like I'm going to faint," and the doc just felt our pulse and said, "Hey, take this pill and come back in 3 months," we think, WTF, is this 1900? I want a CT angiogram. I want an electrocardiogram. You didn't check my blood pressure. I want you to get some blood tests. What are my lip proteins? But that's where men are if they go to their internist or family doctor or a urologist with a question about their sexual health. I like my sexual health where it is right now. How do I keep it here? Or I've got a problem. How do we measure it? They have no way of measuring it, and now they do, and that's profoundly valuable.
Gotcha. So I guess, so does it matter like when it comes to a certain age, right? Because of course, obviously, men, we're 20 years apart, you and I, for example, right? And there could be another gentleman who could be 20 years from me in his 30s, 31 or so. So does it matter, with this age play a factor, I guess you could say, that's a 40-year span between the 30-year-old and yourself. As far as
it's a huge factor. I mean, by age 50, 50% of men report having erectile dysfunction. That's an alarming number. Age 30, it's about 25%, and by my age, it's 70% plus. So wow. age is a big factor. And if we went off to our doctor for a checkup and we're 25, what the doctor needs to do at age 25 is a lot different what the doctor needs to do at age 50 in terms of screening. And I'm confident that we call it the erectile fitness score. This will become part of screening for all men in 3 or 4 years over the age of 45. Now, if a man's younger than 45 and is experiencing problems, this can help them. The data can help them sort it out as well too. So, for example, you mentioned anxiety early on. Mm-hmm. Well, that's a big problem, especially if, life can be stressful. People can be with new partners. There can be a distraction from some event in their life that's preoccupying them. So that's where if a man who's young and uses our device and finds out that he can't perform with a partner, but he has ample nocturnal erections, 3 to 5 nocturnal erections overnight, he has an anxiety problem, and that will be dealt with differently than if that same man had a medical problem. So the data can help people sort out what's causing that problem.
Sure, sure. So, it's interesting when you say, we talk about anxiety, we talk about the problems, we're talking about the erections and so forth. I mean, a man's confidence, right? I mean, that has a big that I don't want to call it big energy, whatever you want to call it, but it deals with a man's confidence, right? And being able to perform to please his spouse or his girlfriend or his significant his partner, whomever, and and not being able to do that kind of has an impact on your psyche, right? Your psychological dysfunction is what I call that. Um, and it basically it just says that it provides anxiety and nervousness, and we don't want to keep popping pills. It's bad for your heart. What are some of the natural, like your product is a natural product, basically.
Yeah, well, there are no side effects. I mean, so there are two parts of our products. One is we provide men with data, but we also have developed, let's just call them cock rings. The doctors call them constriction rings. Must have been some Nazi who thought of that. Who wants to put a constriction ring on their penis? I want to constrict my dick because, I like to call them erection rings because that's what they really are. Right. And why are they? And ours are designed to be comfortable. Erection rings have been made for 150 years the same way. It's a hard silicone ring. Mm-hmm. It's like putting a gasket or a noose on your dick. Well, who wants to fucking do, who wants to do my language? Right. Who wants to do that?
No, you're good. Let's speak it out. Okay. Speak out.
Who wants to choke off the penis? So these things, you have to have a full erection when you put it on because they block the arterial flow in. And then it's a chokehold. Well, you can only wear them for 20, 30 minutes because they compromise the circulation. And if you're diabetic or hypertensive, that could actually be bad for you, long term for your sexual performance because it can damage the nerves and the sensitivity. So, in order to count the number of erections that could have overnight, we had to change the material. So our rings are made out of soft elastomer. It's comfortable. Mm-hmm. It allows the arterial flow in. It only constrains the venous return. So they can be worn for longer periods of time, and comfortably. So this is enormous confidence builder because ED falls into two categories. One is guys who can't attain erection. If you can't attain erection, you got a major problem, medical.
Yes.
And you need to see a urologist. If you can't attain erection, your family doctor, your internist can't help you. You need a specialist. You need to see a urologist.
Right.
But most men the problem is not that they can't attain erection. It's that they can't sustain erection. They get an erection and they lose it. And that's disturbing to their partners, obviously, too. But it's really, it plays with their head. So every erection ends in venous leak. Blood leaks in the veins, and the erection is lost. And that could be due to, you mentioned it, anxiety.
Right.
It can be due to boredom. No one likes to talk about boredom as a factor, but anyone who's involved in a long-term committed relationship knows that boredom is an issue.
That is touche, okay. touche. Because that was my next question, right? As far as the attraction, as far as the connection, and basically something different. Yet same person, different attitude, different, methods.
Well, how can you overcome boredom without infidelity? Well, that's So, and the ring actually, in my personal experience and with an experience of many of our users, can do that. Why is that? Because I'll just talk about myself personally, and I think a lot of people relate to this. Mm-hmm. I'm married 36 years. I'd say I've been happy 34 and a half out of those 36 years. It's been a great marriage.
Awesome.
And we make love 5 or 6 times a week because largely because I kind of been pushed for it, but my wife's grateful for it as well too. But boredom is a big issue, and the ring has changed our lives. Not the data so much, but because I'm in good health. But the ring itself. And why is that? Because there are positions that, whether because my wife has had 3 kids or because I've just done it so many times, I don't get enough friction. Or stimulation in those positions. She likes them. I don't. Now, prior to having the ring, I would get annoyed if she wanted to have, say, sex for a long period of time in the missionary position because I don't get what I want. I'm going to lose my erection. I know I'm going to lose my erection, and that makes me irritable. makes me anxious and makes me feel that she's not being sensitive to me, because she knows this, because we do, this happens does it all the time. If I have the ring on, it's a game changer. I'm hard. And even though I might be bored, I'm hard.
Really?
And a guy who has a hard on thinks differently than a guy who doesn't have a hard on. So I do things that we have sex now in more positions that a couple which I didn't like previously, because hey, I love my wife. If this pleases you and I got a hard on, I'm down for it.
There you
Whereas
go.
previously, before I had the ring, I would have lost my erection or feared losing my erection. And there would have been sort of this rush to climax. Oh, I got to fuck you really hard in this position because I'm not getting friction. I'm going to lose it. So the ring. We make love. Our love make has gone from say 12 to 15 minutes to 30 to 40 minutes, largely because of the ring. And my wife loves it, and I love it too, because I mean, younger people don't understand this word because they think so transactionally. Because like my generation, we talk about making love. My kids' generation, they talk about having sex. That's a different mindset. That's a different word. It's a different description of what's going on. But if we're making love for a longer period of time, more confidently, she knows I'm not going to lose it, and I know that I'm not going to lose it. There's no pressure. It's our marriage has been improved. And I hear this from my customers, our older customers as well too, just by using the ring alone.
Wow. So by using the ring alone, it's not just, it took that 15 minutes to 30, 40 minutes, in your sessions with your, with your spouse, but also it gave you the confidence, as well. Now, what about those guys, or shall I say individuals who are like heavy drinkers and smokers, and how does that ring impact in that space?
Well, you can see how it affects your performance. I've played around with it myself. I can, if I drink heavily, I don't have nocturnal erections, and that's not healthy for my penis. So why would I drink it? Well, if you do that in regular, we need to get blood into our penis at night while we're sleeping, and that's what the nocturnal erections are all about. So if I know this, if I start, it's actually, I drink less now because I have the data. And I'm probably healthier for it as well too. I lost a few pounds as well too. I noticed that if I drank at night, my nocturnal erections went from 4 to 5 a night down to 2 to 3, and they were weaker. The erections on a 1 to 10 scale. And why would I do that to myself? I mean, granted, a lot of people don't have the discipline, but but for a lot of people, it's like following your blood pressure. You can't lie to yourself. It's like having a digital scale. It isn't lying to me, And so this is where healthcare wearables are so valuable. And what do men care more about than anything else? How many steps they took yesterday, or their dick and their erections?
Right.
And we know
call it what it is. It's exactly. Even men in my age, my category, we try to pride ourselves and and being able to perform, and when we do a good job, we walk out the bedroom with our red cape and S on, right? Like we're ready to fly through the airport like an O.J. Simpson commercial. You know what I mean? So but at the same time, we have to make sure it's not always about us, right? We want to make sure that our partner, is satisfied too as well. Right. When we walk away, it's not about feeling good with what we did. It's about making sure that there's still a connection and there's a level of intimacy in that space.
Yeah. Well, people need to plan for pleasure. That's one of the mistakes that a lot of people don't make. I mean, people somehow have this notion. And it kind of distresses me. I see my kids' generation, people in their 30s, you're having sex twice a month. How old are you? 35. It's
yeah.
And you attribute this to stress. You only have one child. We had 3. There's something off about I feel about the way in which younger people are making love. They're missing out on something. I'll look at the medical perspective just for a moment. If you have sex every day, your cortisol level, the stress hormone, is half of what it is for men who have sex twice a month. If you're over the age of 70, it probably applies to younger men as well too. But this study was on men over 70, and you have sex twice a week, you cut your risk of cardiac death by 50% for the next decade. You're gonna die anyway, but that's significant. If you couples that have sex twice a week versus couples that have sex twice a month have half the divorce rate. Well, we're all concerned about broken families, successful marriages, successful partnerships.
Mm-hmm.
People need to make love more, and it kind of amazes me when I see what people, let's see, you go into the gym 10 hours a week, you look great, and your marriage sucks, and you're wondering what you're doing wrong. Well, maybe you need to spend more time with it. I'm not saying that people should have a whiteboard at home of hey, but no one goes to the gym and gets fit spontaneously. So why do we expect to have a better sex life spontaneously? It's not gonna happen.
Right. Well, you know what? It's true. That's a great analogy because you got to build up to it, right? If I'm going to the gym and I want to lose weight, if I want to build muscle, I'm not going to go to the gym one time and just, think that I've accomplished my goal. I got to go through a series of workouts and training and conditioning and diet and exercise to get there, right? A lot of us want this microwave mindset. We want it right now, versus putting things in the crock pot, letting them simmer and marinate, right? It tastes a little bit better that way too. I use that analogy all the time, but it's so true because, if you sit and think about it, when I sit and think about marriage and satisfying good sex, and you mentioned boredom, but I think also too, and correct me if I'm wrong now, Doc, I'm with you when you're right. We have to adjust our expectations, and I think we have to be intentional and available in that space, right? Because maybe it could be something as simple as, well, honey, I want to try this tool, this ring, and she may look at him like, well, what why are you doing that? What's wrong with you, right? So that's how I said it plays intentional and available, right? Be able to listen, be able to he's doing this for us. He's doing it for us. There's nothing weird about it, but society has made it weird, hasn't it?
Doctors are at fault here as well too, because we never take a sexual history. We should. Someone's sex life is so important to their self-esteem, and also is a reflection of their cardiovascular health and their response to medications that might be on. So doctors should take sexual histories, and we don't. And why? Well, part of it is because what you just mentioned, which is an overall inhibition about talking about these things. Mm-hmm. But the other reason is money. There's no box in that electronic health record that says you got to ask these questions. Even I visit my local urologist here because I'm in this space, and I said, well, so when someone comes in with ED, what do you have? What's recommended that the machine, because the computer tells the doctors what to ask. What's recommended that you ask? Nothing. Now, if I went to a cardiologist and told the cardiologist, hey, I've got chest pain, he's got 9 questions that the machine says, hey, you got to ask these questions. And he's got a list of other diseases and medication side problems that could be causing chest pain. And he's got to rule these things out. But when it comes to erectile dysfunction, nothing. So there's no incentive for the doctor to ask those questions. Another problem is the way in which we doctors are assholes is we treat everyone as if it's one size fits all. Well, we're all individuals. So it's great about having data is that it's your data. And some people might benefit from Cialis and some people might not. Some people might benefit from Viagra and some people might not. There's a dose response. Some people benefit from testosterone and others don't. What's the right dose of testosterone? Some people benefit from supplements. Without data, your data, my data, I don't know what's going on. I'm listening to an expert. I'm hearing an opinion. My friend, this worked for my friend. That's a dumb way of doing things. I'll put it that way. We've got to move beyond speculation, opinions, into a world of objective and personal health. And by the way, that doesn't just apply to erectile dysfunction. That's true for diabetes and hypertension as well too, because doctors are making the same error in those areas as well. If you and I went to a doctor with high blood pressure, they put us on the same med, same dose. Well, we weigh differently. We have different lifestyles.
Correct.
We might be taking other medications that could we need personal care today. Objective.
That's so powerful because you're absolutely right. 2 backgrounds. We don't know if it's genetics. We don't know, whatever's going on with us individually. But at the same time, we have a chart on our blood pressure, right? We can go back years. We got a chart on our A1C. We can go back for years.
That's right.
But we don't have a chart on, our manhood in that space. We can't go back for years. We have no past data on ourselves. There's data that exists out there in the world, but what's, Elliot's data? What's Boz's data, right? How do I know what I was doing or where I was 5-10 years ago when I could have gotten in front of something versus where I am today?
Yeah, and that's why I said earlier, we're on this road from fitness to dysfunction, and we're lost. We don't know where we are because we don't have any data. But I want, I know I'm on because of my expertise about erectile dysfunction, but I want to go back to high blood pressure for a moment, because high blood pressure affects tens of millions of men around the world. Hundreds and hundreds of millions of men have high blood pressure. What I've learned when I started working with getting my sex data called the erectile fitness score, now I follow my data a lot because I'm involved with the company, but my data is good. So if I had this tool and I would just a man my age or your age for that matter, I would follow it once a week, just so I might check my blood pressure. Hey, where am I? What's going on? What's going on overnight or during when I'm having sex? But when it comes to high blood pressure, guys go to the doctor like twice a year and get their blood pressure checked, and take medication because of that. When I got involved in this about a year and a half ago, I had high blood pressure. I started taking my blood pressure twice a day. And I realized that I only have high blood pressure a few times a week. And it's in the morning. Oh, and it's in the morning after if I've been drinking at night, like if I have a bottle of wine before. And if I cut back on my wine consumption to one glass and maybe one one cocktail from 2 or 3 glasses of wine, and a couple of cocktails, suddenly my blood pressure is only up maybe twice a week. Why would I only take a pill now twice a week, as opposed to every day? I don't need it. And that's what doctors are missing out, because we now have tools that people can use at home, blood pressure, our tech ring for your erectile sexual health, where people can actually say, what's really going on with me and what pill do I need for me, not for all men who have this problem, generic problem.
Sure. Well, in the respect of time, my question to you is, sir, is that do you by chance have and somewhat of an example that you can show here online to our viewers? Of course, obviously the ones on, that's listening through their Apple Play, Google Play, whatever, can't see it. But I definitely would like to show the listeners that are available what it looks like, and basically,
pull my data. So just so people know, I don't have access to anyone's data. The data, all the data is password protected. It's password protected, and it goes to the cloud. It's turned your name and your email get turned into random numbers. So there's no
encrypted. Gotcha.
It's encrypted, right? So I can't find it. I'll show you what data looks like. So we provide people with an overall score.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
And anything above 5 is good. 6.7, okay for my age.
Mm-hmm.
You personally should be a little higher. You're a bit younger, and you might not be. You wouldn't know it. Yeah, I'll show you what the data looks like. So
gotcha. See it.
Over here, other side. That's my wife and I having sex there. About an hour. It was fun. And I'm having 2 nocturnal erections. So
wow.
That's good health.
So the ring has sensors on it to actually feel like pulses and blood flow.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Here's another one. That's me having sex. By the way, twice with my wife there.
Yep.
Well, that's nothing. Nothing is weird about the ring. I'll get that in a second. And then I'm having 3 nocturnal erections.
Wow.
So I've actually, I this only happened with me maybe 4 times, to be honest, the last year. I've actually managed to come twice. I'm 71 years old.
Hey,
for me to come twice in less than an hour, previously at age 70, it'd be like, hey, I'm good. You want to come back in 8 hours? I'm good. That's just the way it is. One thing the guys don't understand is that rock hard at my age is like rock hard at your age, rock hard when I was 30. It's not a question of getting hard. The refractory period, the time between climaxes, is an aging factor. We don't understand it as doctors. We don't understand that. But the ring can be so sensitizing that it has allowed me to come 4 times now, in under 90 minutes. That's kind of cool. That's
actually very cool. I do have a question though. This is a question I was in the back of my mind. I just thought about it. masturbation, right? Okay.
Use it or lose it,
Healthy,
dude.
unhealthy.
It's healthy.
It's healthy.
Well, put it this way. Obviously, if you're doing it on the bus or if you're doing it at work, it's probably, that's not a healthy idea.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, no public displays, right?
You know, I hate that when I get on a plane and the pilot's masturbating. I don't know about you, but it just kind of bothers me. But no. It's use it or lose it. So you can go to the gym. So sex is a smooth muscle function, not a skeletal muscle function. So skeletal muscles you can work out in the gym. You can't make your dick harder or increase the blood flow significantly by going to the gym. You can make yourself look better. You can increase your overall cardiovascular health. You can make yourself more attractive. But in terms of getting, in terms of your penis, you have to, you need smooth muscle strength for two reasons. One, to ejaculate, obviously, pump sperm out. But two, to hold the blood in your penis. Because as we get older, the smooth muscle in our small veins weakens, and the small vein cells get stiff, so they leak. So, for example, that'd be probably happens at your age. If I sit on a plane for 5 or 6 hours, my socks get a little bit might get a little bit tight because my veins are not pumping blood back to the heart that fast, and that didn't happen to me when I was 25 years old or 30 years old. Similarly, we need those smooth muscles are holding blood in our penis, and they get weaker with age. And that's why a ring is so valuable, because, and that's why masturbation is valuable too, because if you don't masturbate, those muscles are going to get weak, really weak. You got, if you're not having sex with and so masturbation, put it this way, masturbation or sex are essential to maintaining smooth muscle tone. You got to use it or you're going to lose it. So we have had men come to me who, for religious reasons, don't masturbate. They get divorced or something happens to their wife, and they're in their 50s, and 10 years go by, and they meet someone, they want to start having sex again, and it's a struggle. Well, they've let it atrophy. They've let it get too weak. It's a struggle. But for all men, even young men, if you want to be your hardest, put a ring on it. You can't, beyond rock hard, there's cock ring hard. And I didn't understand this until the last 2 years, because even if your muscles are strong, there's still a little bit more blood that you can hold in your penis if you put a ring on it. Right. And that means the more blood's held in your penis, the more sensitive your penis is, the longer your erection lasts. And as I indicated to you beforehand, we've tested to see what's better. A ring, ours, of course, the one we tested, a ring or tadalafil, 10 milligrams, which is Cialis. Right. And the ring was twice as effective as tadalafil, but both together was the best of all. So really, the takeaway for men is, if you want to rock your hardest, last longer, have the most intense orgasm, put a ring on it and take a pill. But if you have to choose between a ring and a pill, the ring is better. Wow. Well, I tell you what, Dr. Elliot Justin, this has been a fantastic knowledge, I guess, shall I say, knowledge share. Because, of course, obviously, we've got, folks commenting in the chat, everybody's indeed, yes, right on, amazing, so true. So we're getting some definitely some great positive feedback from what you're sharing. I guess my last question for you, sir, is how can a person order it? How can? Sure. Yeah, you can find us at myfirmtech.com, MYFIRM. Okay. myfirmtech.com. I got you. I mean, we're on Amazon, but I'd rather you come to us because we make more money that way. No, not a problem. Yeah, not a problem. And if people have any questions, they can just write to me at Elliot, ELLIOT, at myfirmtech.com. Gotcha. Now, and on the flip side, you do have a product for women as well, too, right? I mean, we're working on a product for women. So we call it the Clitique for obvious reasons. And it's the world's first monitor of clitoral health. And women have all the same issues that men do, only probably more. Why? First I want to say is women have nocturnal erections as well, too, nocturnal arousal episodes, let's call them. No one has studied them since Master and Johnson back in probably the late 80s, late 80s, I guess. Mm-hmm. Premenopausal women are protected, have some protection against heart disease, but they take hormones for birth control and they take SSRI antidepressants way more than men do, and those things are killers of their sexual pleasure. Postmenopausal women have all the same problems that men do, and they take more medications, and they suffer from hormone deficiencies because of menopause that kick in faster than men's andropause does. So we've tested this product on 38 women, and now I need, I did firm tech my own money. I don't have enough money to do the product. So if any of your listeners want to be an angel, I'm looking to raise $750,000. I could bring it to market for women in 7 to 8 months, and it would change their lives because women would then be able to measure the impact of medications, diseases, supplements, diet, et cetera, upon their sexual health.
That would be awesome because I do know that some, women, like I got sisters, of course, obviously, and they just like, we're very candid with each other, and of course they're older than me, and it says women can suffer from like dryness and stuff like that as well. So it's just a good opportunity to have good sexual health between partners, no matter what it is, right?
Well, let's talk about dryness for a moment, because it's really an interesting issue. Right now, it's the standard of care to give women estrogen replacement cream to address the dryness. What about testosterone? Because premenopausal women produce testosterone as well too. So why are we doctors just replacing one hormone and not the other hormone? It's unbalanced. And I believe that in the next 3 to 5 years, giving women testosterone will be the standard of care for women in order to sustain their sexual health out in the 70s in the 70s or 80s.
Wow. And I do have a question here from one of our viewers. It says, could the penis go into atrophy? What's that, trophy if not used?
Yes. Atrophy. Yes.
Atrophy. Okay, I'm sorry. Yes.
Definitely.
Okay. Yes. So
use it
or lose it, right? All right. Now, I know I said last question before, but last question. Okay, so you talk about masturbation. Okay, there are some that say you do it too much, you won't be able to perform later, you become numb to the actual physical activity yourself. Where's the fine line?
Well, I can't put a number on. I'll share with you that you men know. Look. I don't masturbate when I want to make love to my wife because I'd be an asshole then because I wouldn't be able to perform with her. I make a choice. Well, I could sit down Pornhub it or I could make love to my wife. That's a choice that mature people have to make. And if a guy is choosing masturbation over his wife or his girlfriend or his boyfriend, that guy's an asshole. You don't want to be involved with him, right? I mean, so on the other hand, if my wife's not home, I'm gonna masturbate because it's fun. Because it's a great way of passing 45 minutes of my life every day. Why wouldn't I do it?
And it's safe.
Yeah, and it's and it's inexpensive too. It's free. So
right. Well, that's that question because even on the flip side, let's get to the friction aspect of it too, because people will say, oh well, guy, and actually there are a lot of female urologists who are really interested in this. Well, guys get desensitized to a vagina if they masturbate. Well, if you speak to adults, I mean people from like 45 or on up. One of the things that people don't realize is that intercourse is not the end all for the way in which most people are making love to each other. The way in which they're both the men, the women having orgasms is with a hand or a mouth. So if a woman prefers being a guy going down on her to have a better orgasm, why shouldn't a guy prefer his hand or her hand? A hand has a brain attached to it. A vagina does not have a brain attached to it. A vagina cannot deliver the sensations that a hand or a mouth can because of muscles and attached to the brain. So I kind of listen when I hear that from people. I think, why are you obsessed with penetration? I mean, look for my wife and I, and for most of our friends, when talking about to them, penetration is important and it's intimate, and we, I like it, my wife likes it, but it's not the end all and be all for both of us. It's not how we're gonna, do we always? Again, of course, it shouldn't be one or the other, but it's. There's more than one way to pleasure yourself and to pleasure someone else. So when we talk about desensitization, well, look, if my wife had 3 kids, let's get real. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, no, it's that's a great response because I was thinking about like, what is it like with women when they have like toys and stuff like that, right? Too, are they like the machine, the mechanics? Men we aren't robots, right? So it's steady doing whatever it's doing.
We can't compete with a vibrator. In a way, in that sense, I mean, look, guys have nothing right now. Well, they have a ring. They do have our ring. Our ring is designed to make their orgasm more intense. But look at vibrators in my lifetime. My mother's vibrator was in the early 60s, was stashed away in a dresser drawer, in a supply, in a closet in the garage. My wife owns I don't know how many, and my daughter takes them on dates. They've been mainstream. There's no shame associated with a woman using a vibrator with herself or with a partner. That's just that's normal. And if my wife wants to use a vibrator, I don't feel threatened by it. I'd be an asshole too. Hey, our goal here is to maximize our pleasure. You want a toy you want to use. Similarly, my wife likes to want to use the ring because I'm going to dig it more. So but it's to say that somehow the women can use vibrators, but a guy should be ashamed if he has to use it, if he prefers her hand or his hand. That's kind of bizarre. That's
yeah. It's a double standard, right? It's just,
right.
Doesn't work too good. But once again, Dr. Elliot Justin, please give that website one more time to the listeners. I want to make sure that we get you going.
It's myfirmtech, myfirmtch.com.
Dr. Elliot, you've been wonderful. Thank you once again, my friend. I am looking forward to going to visit your site myself. So I am going to check you out, and I'm going to basically share your link, of course, on my platform here, and we'll definitely connect. And I definitely appreciate your time. I appreciate your knowledge. I appreciate your product, and this is very, very educational. Once again, thank you for being on Men Speaking Out.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. All right. Take care.
That was fun.
Yes.